What's up, everybody? Brett Mix here, Mixer Madness. Welcome to the 50th week of the Monday Night Wars. Hit like and subscribe if you're enjoying them. This is the 50th week that Raw and Nitro have gone head-to-head. This is the 178th episode of Raw in its history. It went on the USA Network from the Hershey Park Arena in Hershey, Pennsylvania. This Raw took place September the 30th, 1996. Ratings for this Raw were 2.3. Nitro got 3.3, so a full point win for Nitro. This is the 14th week in a row that Nitro won. So now after this week's loss, the total scoreboard in the Monday Night Wars through 50 weeks are 17 wins for the WWF, 31 losses for the WWF, and 2 draws through the 50 weeks. And this 50th week Raw that lost with a 2.3 rating was brought to you by Kevin Kelly, Jerry Lawler, and Jim Ross. They opened the show talking about the Diesel and Razor Ramon fiasco last week, and they're saying that Diesel is here tonight and Razor will face Savio Vega later. Stone Cold Steve Austin opens the show versus Jake the Snake Roberts. As Austin's in the ring already, Jake the Snake comes out to a good pop, and this is a rematch from the 1996 King of the Ring finals. I wrote in my notes that it should be interesting the response Austin gets after the sign comments that he talked about last week, especially with them being in ECW territory. Then I remembered that this was a taped episode, so the fans wouldn't have seen the week before's episode, so it's not like they would have seen it and then responded after that, because only one Raw in 4 weeks span is live for back then, back in late 96 anyway. It would soon get to the point where all Raws would be live, and that's when things get really interesting in the Monday Night Wars. But we're still in a spot where Raw was only live once every month. Stone Cold Steve Austin laughing and taunted at Jake as the two had bad tie-ups. Wasn't clean either time, so the referees broke them up, and there was a lot of stalling in this match. Austin won initial tie-ups with Jake. Jake won some tie-ups as well. Austin went for a walk-up around the ring. Jake was caught with a right hand and then a left as Austin began to brawl with Jake the Snake. The King was about to use his chair on Jake on the outside, but Austin caught him off in the middle rope. Austin speared Jake in the corner as the King laughed and said, "What about that?" Austin spears him a number of times. Stone Cold stalked Jake for a big move as he was getting help getting out of the corner, but Austin just stomped away at the ribcage, which is giving us flashbacks of King of the Ring 96. Jake stumbled on his DDT attempt when he fought back as he clotheslined Austin with an arm wringer and then a clothesline. He tried to give Austin the DDT, but Austin moved away in time. Jake can't believe it as he does hit the DDT, and Austin put his foot on the rope. Austin got his boot on the rope, so Jake goes up, and Jerry Lawler calls him over, and Jerry Lawler drinks some of his Jim Beam and spits it in Jake the Snake's face. Jake can't believe it, and Stone Cold Steve Austin turns Jake around and hits the stunner. Austin defeats Roberts around 10-minute mark, even after he hit the stunner. He and King are pounding away on Jake the Snake at the end of the match. After the match, after the bell rings, they brawl on Jake the Snake until Savio Vega comes with a strap. He strapped Austin and he strapped the King back to Austin to the back, King back to the commentary spot. So this match here, it was better than the King of the Ring final, which was a squash. That match was a squash. This match didn't have the most enthralling pace. I gave it a star and 3/4. Next, Hunter S. Helmsley comes into the ring with a microphone. He says if Mr. Perfect has the guts, he challenges him for taking away his valets. He didn't say for taking away my valets, but that's the reason he challenged him. Hunter throws in the line, "I'll show you what the new generation is all about." You got to wonder if that line was a shot to Vince there. Like as if to say I was supposed to be the leader of the new generation, or the youth leader of the new generation. Not the top guy, but the youth leader, as he was supposed to be King of the Ring 96, as we all know. But he was blacklisted from the top, and he's trying to work his way up the ladder that he was going to be given, as we all know, and he did win King of the Ring the following year. So Hunter is just paying his dues, but he wanted to make sure Vince knew that he cares about the new generation, and you got to think that line might have been ad-libbed. I think it was, and I think it was a good call for somebody that shows confidence. They want to grab the brass ring, so to speak. And Triple H did that, and he did it the hard way. He went through all the hog pen matches, and he went up the card really slowly from 96 to 97. He got put in matches that weren't favorable, but he stuck around, and look what ended up happening to Triple H. Look who's running the WWE. It's amazing. Next up, the Godwins take on the Grimm twins, Jared Grimm and Jason Grimm. So it's basically a jobber match for the Godwins. Doesn't that spell excitement? Helmsley does commentary, and the Godwins bring farm animals near ringside, so Triple H and King complain about the smell. Phineas Godwin and Henry are taking on the Jobber team, and it's not the most attractive match. The Godwins aren't a team people really want to watch wrestle. Phineas wins with a slap drop over the Grims in a match I didn't do play-by-play for. The Godwins win at 4:24. I gave the match 3/4 of a star because, I don't like to give out duds. That being said, Savio Vega faces Razor Ramon. The fake Razor makes his in-ring debut. The fans really hate this. They didn't want to pay any attention to how good of an athlete he was, which JR was trying to get over the fact that, he's not Scott Hall, but he's a great athlete. And the Gorilla Monsoon says, well, yeah, but why do you have to call him that? As Gorilla Monsoon's on commentary. Then they go back and forth between Jim Ross's heel promo from last week about how Vince McMahon fired him and how the WWF should be about young athletes and so, where Gorilla Monsoon says, yeah, but you got to stop playing the fans. And then Diesel comes out, the fake Diesel, for the first time. It's Glenn Jacobs, the future Kane, former Isaac Yankem. Glenn Jacobs, thank God they got rid of the Isaac Yankem gimmick, though. That's one good thing about fake Diesel being there. Fake Diesel pulled over the top rope as Vega was running to the ring, and he ended up getting disqualified, did the fake Razor. The match sucked. It was awful. It went 9.5 minutes. No one wanted to watch it from the start. I gave it a dud. And you know how rare I give away duds in these reviews. So, dud. Jim Cornette and Vader took on HBK and Jose Lothario next. Shawn Michaels in an interesting tag match. Vader with a lift and a clothesline to HBK. Vader with a splash and a clothesline to Shawn. Vader with a headbutt to HBK and then sets him up for a powerbomb, but Shawn fights back with rights and a Hurricane Rana to Vader. Vader with amazing agility to get that Hurricane Rana and make him flip. HBK has Vader grabbed in the corner, and HBK corners him with rights and lefts and a spear. HBK leaped for a crossbody, and HBK went over the top rope as Vader ducked and moved out of the way just in time. So Shawn just crossbodied nobody and flew over the top rope to the floor. Vader with headshots on the outside of the ring, and then back in the ring, Irish whips him, and then it's a bear clap. HBK falls down to the canvas. In comes Jim Cornette when HBK was down. And HBK was able to make it to Lothario in time, so Lothario comes in and gives Cornette chops, hard knife-edge chops to Jim Cornette, and rakes his face. Lothario was taking it to him, and then Vader gets in. Vader with Irish whip HBK, who Lothario takes back in, so HBK and Vader get back in the ring. And Vader comes at him with rights and lefts until HBK hits a flying forearm and kips up. And then drops an elbow on Vader. HBK tunes up the band in the corner, but Vader clotheslined HBK, and he kicked out. Vader looks like he's going to hit the Vader bomb, but instead goes to the very top. Then he hesitates for a second and goes down, back to a Vader bomb, but HBK lifted the knees up, and it exploded from two different sides of the ropes with forearms and a clothesline. Michaels then with a huge power slam to Vader. He moves out of the corner, and Vader misses him crashing, but Vader ends up control with HBK leveling him with a power bomb. Vader drags Shawn to the corner. Vader goes up top and hits the Vader bomb on Shawn and gets the 3 count. Vader has pinned Michaels for the second time in the last 3 months. He did it in your house in International Incident in July in Vancouver, and he did so here. Vader and Jim Cornette win at 9:30 after the Vader bomb. Clean. So that does it for the match portions of the show. Show closes with, after the main event match, more brawling, as Vader could have been champion one day. It's looking back in hindsight, and it's really too bad he wasn't. I mean, Sid grabbed the title at one point. I mean, speaking of Sid, he runs in and wants to face Vader because they meet at In Your House Buried Alive. Goldust runs in, and then Shawn evens the odds. So Sid and Goldust brawled while Vader and HBK brawled as the show came to a close. I gave this show a 4 out of 10 because while the main event was decent and Austin and Jake was fair, the other two matches just sucked. Nobody wanted to see the fake Razor and Diesel. Nobody wanted to see the Godwins with jobbers, and no one wanted to see that crap. So 4 out of 10 seems fair for this Monday Night Raw. Again, it lost 3.3 to 2.3 to Nitro in the ratings. So a 2.3 rating and a 14th straight loss to Nitro. Hopefully Raw gets a little bit better here on out as they build towards In Your House Buried Alive. I'm Brett Mix, and I'll see you on the next one.